What up, YouTube? Ryan Rucker here. Figured I'd show you an update on the Frozen Sea deck. I might actually be adding an obelisk into this. I might turn it into the Drowned God. I don't know. I pulled an obelisk last night out of Battle Pack Epic Dawn, so I was kind of happy about that one. But let's get started off. 2 Abyss Soldier. You should remember that one from the old deck. You know, the whole discard, return 1, chain with an Atlantean. Yeah, that's still one of my favorite moves to pull in this deck. 2 Abyss Warriors. That way you can discard water monsters like Atlanteans and then shuffle other Atlanteans back on top of your deck. Doesn't even really shuffle, just places them on top. So that way you're guaranteed a loop as long as you have him on the field. 1 Sea Hunter. I've actually tried to balance this deck out between meta and anti-meta. So far it's been doing well. I mean, even a Seal of Void Calcos in this deck it's godly. 2 Atlantean attack squads. 2 Dragoons, your searchers, and watch your others direct attack. Heavy infantry, your extra summons, and your face-up destruction. I can actually pull off 4 summons in a turn using marksman heavy infantry and diva. Speaking of marksman, 2 marksmen. Honestly, marksman's my favorite card in the deck. 1 Golden Chainer, still only running 1. I cannot manage to find anyone with an extra 1 that would be willing to trade. I would be happy with 2. I'd prefer 3, but I'm still relatively happy with 2. 2 Deep Sea Diva. 1 Gores. I traded up the rarity. Managed to find a guy who had a hold of the high rarity Gores. Yeah, he wasn't using it. So, shows you noobs. 1 Pike and 1 Turg. Pike, discard a water monster, add a level 3, has to be level 3, water monster from your deck to your hand. Abyss Turg, discard a water monster, add 1 level 3 or lower water monster from your grave to your hand. I do not run Megalo, I do not run Genix Controller. I will never change over to those styles. I do not care what people say, I will never do it. 1 Aqua Jet, 1 Book of Moon, 1 Dark Hole, Moray of Greed, 2 MSTs, Avarice and Duality, 2 Salvage, Shield Crush. Now, this deck actually works kind of backwards from what people would expect. They would originally say, oh, if you don't get Salvage, it's not going to be good. Or, if you don't get Book of Moon to protect your Atlanteans, this deck's going to flop first turn. That's not the case. This deck runs a lot of different outs. It runs a lot of different tactics. It's usable by almost any type of player. Whether you're an anti-meta, whether you're a swarm, whether you're a noob just starting out. I mean, this deck actually does fit almost every situation. Aegis of the Ocean Dragon Lord. 1 Call of the Haunted. Fiendish Chain. Phoenix Wing Wind Blast, another one of the outs. Real effective card. Even though Atlanteans don't trigger with it, it protects quite well, and it guarantees their next draw to be something that by the time they get, you probably can take out. 3 Poseidon Waves. I still run the 3 Poseidon Waves. Some people call me a noob for that because I don't run the Mirror Force. I had the chance at 1, didn't want it. 1 Power Frame, 1 Reckless Greed, and 1 Torrential. I had trouble deciding whether I actually wanted to swap out for the Reckless Greed or not. Anybody who saw my last video saw what I was running, but Reckless Greed was really a tough decision for me. I considered taking it back out several times because of the delay on the draw, but I realized that my Dragoons, my Abyss Turg, my Abyss Pike, my Grave, it all worked for me already. There was no real reason to complain. Extra deck, we still have the star of the show, Duloran. I took out Catastor, it belonged to a friend of mine. I also took out Stardust and Light Gazer. Level 6 Synchros is all I run now. Flameveil Requisis. I would go up to 2 Duloran though. I'd be happy if somebody had a Duloran to trade. 1 Iron Chain. 1 Gaia Knight for the Synchros. That covers all 4. 2 Gotchi, Utopia, Papal Operative, Snowdust Giant, for those of you who remember my little up and down combo with Gold Enchanter and Snowdust. 1 Wind-Up Zen Maester. I told everybody I'd take it out when I got a better one, but I still only have 14 cards in my extra deck. Well, 15 now. I forgot to count in my Zen mains. Adreus. I plan on taking him out once I get a hold of another decent card. So really, I'm down to 13 because I never use those 2. Leviathan Dragon. I finally got a Leviathan Dragon. I was so happy that somebody had one. Wind-Up Zen mains. I was real happy I got that one. Costed me an FGD and like Toon Dark Magician Girl and a bunch of other stuff I was never even going to touch. So, not a bad trade-off, really. 1 Greno. I actually got the Grenosaurus, Utopia, and Leviathan Dragon, as well as one of the Gotchis for free. The newest addition to the deck. Well, not really newest, but she's new to some people who aren't familiar with rank 3 Mermails. Mermail Abyss-Trite. Came out of Cosmo Bonar. It was actually her and the Basilisk, the rank 6 that takes more than that can take up to 2 or more level 6 fires. I pulled both of them out of one pack. I got extremely lucky that pack. Abyss-Trite takes 3 level 3s. During either player's turn, when your opponent targets exactly 1 face-up Mermail monster for an attack, or a spell or trap card that could target this card, I can detach a material from this card. The attack or effect now targets Abyss-Trite. When this card is destroyed and sent to the grave, I can target 1 Mermail in my graveyard and special summon. So it works for my Abyss Pike and Abyss Turg mainly. I'll get Turg in my grave or Pike in my grave. Either way is fine with me. And get the other one on the field. And I'll just let them threaten to attack my Trite or my Turg. Well, my Trite, my Turg, or my Pike. I typically try to keep Pike on the field because it's lower attack. So that way I can kind of trick them into hitting my 2800 wall. Extra deck altogether. We have the Marionette Mite versus Dark Worlds. A lot of people say run E-Virus, a lot say run Puppet Plant. I still say run Marionette Mite as well. You still run up against Dark Worlds out there. Lost Boy Breaker. Puppet Plant for Anti-Sams. Snowman Eater. Flip, destroy 1. I'm pretty sure a lot of people remember him ever since he's come back into play since about 2011. 1 T-King. 1 Treeborn. Now here's the real newest addition to the deck, a Forbidden Lance. I managed to pull one out of the same battle pack that I pulled Obelisk. I was so happy with my pulls last night, I almost couldn't sleep. 1 Heavy Storm, 1 Monster Reborn, 1 Terraforming for my Seal of Orichalcos. Now this deck, I do not care. This deck is godly with Seal on the field. As soon as it hits the field, a lot of people I've gone up against just scoot. They just look at it and say, okay, I'm done. Aegis of the Ocean Dragon Lord, Interdimensional Matter Transporter, Fiendish Chain, and 1 Torrential in the side. Yeah, those last 4 were kind of out of order, but you guys get the gist. That's the deck. Well, go ahead and tell me what you think, YouTube. Comment, rate, subscribe. Signing off.